Alright, folks, we are back. This is Pitching Ace 88. We are playing Criminal Case on Facebook, case number 35 at the end of the rope. Going on to chapter number 2. Major Ace, you've got to believe me. Lisa Edwards did not commit suicide. She was murdered. Well, but how can you be so sure, Luke? Lisa was found hanging in the library. The autopsy found no trace of foul play. What's more, we know that she was the target of bullying, which might unfortunately explain why she took her life. Listen to me. I teach a class about movie history. In the last movie we studied, The Hangman Murders, was about a murderer who disguises his crime to make it look like his victim hanged himself. Well, that's a little uncanny, alright, but it might just be a coincidence. Look, there's one simple way of checking if it's true or not. In the movie, the murder also takes place in a library. The criminal writes the victim's suicide letter and places it at the bottom row of a bookshelf. Major Ace, please, go to the library and check that bookshelf out. Alright, I guess it's still a lead worth investigating, but I hope you're not making us lose our time, Luke. I don't think you would be. That seems very specific. Grab some energy. See what we can find. Oh yeah, it's right here. Alright, so what else we got here? Dagger. That's scythe. Let's see, silence. Let's see, begging man. Cherry tree. Oh, I know what that is. Dagger. Right here. Adhesive note, magnifying glass, and cherry tree. Definitely not the best, but at least we got parts of it. Alright, this is spooky. What are the chances of you finding a letter right where Luke said we would find one? Well, that's where our luck ends, though. The letter was written in pencil, and half of it is almost erased. Time to spring some powder, Ace. Alright, well, that sounds like a plan to me. To die to sleep, okay. Wow. I don't know how you get like 9 on that one. Well, good. Now that you've recovered the missing sentences, we can read what was written on the letter you found in the library. The letter says, to die to sleep, perchance to dream. I'm sorry, but I just can't stand this anymore. I hope the world will be a better place without me, Lisa. Oh, this is horrible. How could anyone think that the world could be better without them in it? Hey, that's the quote Lisa posted as her last friendnet status. I guess we have our answer then. This letter can only have been written by... What? You think we should really send this letter to the lab? Check whether Lisa really did write it? Alright, I know better than not to trust your judgment, Ace. Hey, good point. Maybe someone forced her to write it, or she actually did write it. Alright, well, 12 hours, guys. I will see you guys then. Later. Alright, guys, let's get back to this. This is 12 hours. We're going to learn this, and they're going to give us another 12-hour one, I'm sure. Well, Grace's fiance was right, Ace. I did a graphologist analysis, and the results are crystal clear. Your victim did not write the suicide letter. It was forged. Exactly like in the movie Luke showed to his students. Which means we're dealing with a murder, and we know Lisa's killer based it all on the hangman's murders. When there's more, the killer must use gloves because there were no fingerprints, but looking at the letter with the black light showed stains. Didn't take long to figure out that those were coffee molecules. The sad truth is that your killer enjoyed a cup of coffee while they were writing that letter. Okay, that's literally everyone in the world except for me who drinks coffee. I'm like the only person I know that does not drink coffee. Anyways, well, it's official now. We're dealing with a murder case, and whoever killed Lisa must have been a cold-blooded for sure. I think the worst is that they wrote a fake suicide letter, and using the same quote Lisa posted as her last friendnet says, to die, to sleep, perchance to dream. But to have written this, it means that the killer saw Lisa's last post and used it in order to make the letter sound authentic, which means the killer used friendnet. Ace, I'm speechless. Thanks to you, we've gone from thinking this was a suicide to having 3 major pieces of evidence against Lisa's killer. Aha! So it is a murder. I knew it. What the? Tess, what are you doing here? We haven't seen you since that horrible hazing case. Yes, and I still can't believe how fast you solved Ray's murder, Major Ace. That was so impressive. And she's kind of cute. I'm okay. Well, yes, we did a pretty good job. I was actually speaking to Major Ace. Do you often take credit for others' success, Officer Jones? Fascinating. Hey, Major Ace and I are a team. Anyway, what are you doing here? Can't talk to you about Lisa Edwards' death, of course. Alright. What's going on? You just hit a big old shot to Jones' ego. Alright, so what's up, Tess? So, Tess, you want to talk about Lisa's murder? Yes, I knew the victim a little. We shared Mr. Harris's movie history class, and we used to take the subway together afterwards. Oh. Well, lately, Lisa was acting strange. She spent hours sitting on that subway platform waiting for the trains to go past. Sometimes it felt as if she'd only get in a wagon if there were no students inside. I tried to make her talk. I mean, I'm majoring in psychology, so I thought I might be able to help. I offered for her to go for a cup of coffee, but she always refused. Well, did you know she was being bullied? Did she talk about it? I knew. I saw the messages left on her FriendNet page before she deleted them, but Lisa refused to talk about it with me. See, when I heard she'd hung herself, I thought that was strange. Considering how much time she spent on that subway platform, I thought that she'd have committed suicide by jumping on the tracks for sure. Interesting. Huh, what a lovely mental image Tess has put into my brain. That girl's really morbid, don't you think? Hey, but at least we learned quite a few things about her, and you're right. If she was in Mr. Harris's class, then she obviously studied the hangman's murders. Let's add this to her profile. Anyway, let's get a move on her. If our victim spent that much time in Onion Street subway, we better go check it out. You're right. Yep. Tess, you basically like implicated yourself in all of our stuff so far. But that's okay. We'll see if she actually has a part of this. Alright, let's look at what we can find. We got torn paper, obviously. Ooh, a C-, that's not good. Security camera, smartphone, fire extinguisher, folder, and high voltage. 2 more things to look through. Always appreciate that. Ace, you found the victim's portfolio. That's her name scrawled on it in ballpen ink. We need to have a look inside. I trust the torn pieces you found next to it will not take you more than 2 seconds to piece back together, will they? Heck no, dude. I'm awesome. You know me. You know me, Jones. That's how I do it. I'll rock and roll with this. Oh well, let's put away this paper so I can feel a little bit worse about myself. If it ever loads. Okay, well at least it's a square. So I may be able to fix it, maybe. We'll see. Oh, she got a C- on her essay. Interesting. Alright, let's continue on. So, the paper you found torn in the subway was, hey, it's a school essay, and it was written by Lisa. Whoa, the teacher's commentaries are really mean. Even less inspired than the previous one. Your ideas have been used before, and even better. I don't know for you, but I'd have been pretty upset at getting such comments. Yeah, you're right. The copy's stained, and the stain goes all over the several pieces. So it was there before the copy got torn. Can you collect a sample, Ace? Wow. Me talking fast is not always a good thing. Oh my goodness, that was a lot. Nice. Oh, interesting. Our victim's portfolio contained all the usual student paraphernalia and a pamphlet for Anti-Bullying Association. Huh, so Lisa was trying to take these steps to stop bullying. There seems to be something written on the pamphlet. I guess it's time for a little powder dusting, Ace. Nice. This is what I like to see. Help me use all of the stars that I've accumulated and not really deal too much with anything else. You know, in terms of like the timing. Don't give me another 12 hours one. Boom! Shakalaka. Great, now that you collect a sample from Lisa's essay, we can send it to the lab. Grace should have no problem telling us what that stained that copy. How long is it going to take her? 6 hours. Not horrible. Not fantastic, but not horrible. Alright, so it's going to be down here. Whoa, we got a private phone number. Someone left their phone number on the anti-bullying pamphlet you found in Lisa's portfolio. We need to figure out who that was. Let's send that number to Alex, Ace. Let's do it. 6 hours again. Cool. So I will see you guys in 6 hours. Later. Alright, folks, 6 hours have passed. I tracked down the owner of the phone number you found scribbled on that anti-bullying pamphlet, Ace. And the owner is none other than the Anti-Bullying Association's president, Caroline Fitzgerald. Well, you don't say. We better go talk to this Miss Fitzgerald about our victim. You seem very familiar. I mean, maybe it's just because they're both redheads, but... Anyways, let's check out this brown substance. The substance you collected from Lisa's essay is coffee, Ace. Well, you look strangely off-put by that. Alright, don't get me wrong, but I know who left the stain on Lisa's copy. It's Luke. You mean Lisa's essay was for his class, so he's the one who left those comments? Yes, he always drinks coffee while correcting essays. I always tell him that it's not respectful to rest his mug on his students' copies. But that doesn't mean he's a suspect, you hear? Actually, it does. Sorry, Grace. Ace, you better go talk to Luke again. The comments he left on the victim's essay are pretty harsh, and she did tore his essay to shreds. Yeah, sorry, Grace. You need to know if your guy's a jerk. Let's talk to Caroline first, though. Sorry if I look a little tense, Major Ace. I think I just must have had 10 cups of coffee this morning. Such a young woman taking her own life. My nerves are a wreck. Actually, Lisa didn't commit suicide, Miss Fitzgerald. She was murdered, and her murder was then staged to look like a suicide. Oh my gosh, is it because of that atrocious movie? Isn't it? It is, isn't it? Oh, I knew it. I told Mr. Harris that showing such a movie to impressionable young adults could only end in tragedy. As the president of the Students' Parents Association, I always watch the material studied by the pupils to make sure it's appropriate. I take my duties very seriously. And I knew this girl was in trouble. I told her to call me if she needed help, but she never did. I wish she had. Luke, we found one of Lisa's essays for your class, and well, you were pretty harsh with her. Harsh? I don't remember being harsh. I just think it's best not to feed students with delusions with false praise. Still, obviously she took your remarks to heart. We found that essay torn up on a subway platform. Were you always this hard on her? Look, if I had known my feedback was upsetting, I would have talked to her in private. Lisa was striving so hard to convince me she could work in the movie industry, but she just did not have the creative talent or the maturity. What was I supposed to do? Feed her delusions? We might have at least let her shot her down with a little more kindness. I never know how to behave with the kids. I try to be their friend so that they won't be afraid to talk to me, but it never seems to work. I even created a friendnet account so I could get to know them better, but I think they're screening all their posts for me. I almost wonder if Luke's the guy. Luke seems like a pretty rough, tough teacher, don't you think, Ace? Still, I've got a hard time picturing him killing one of his students. After all, Grace wouldn't fall in love with a criminal, would she? David Jeremiah Jones, what are you implying exactly? Of course I'd never fall in love with a criminal. Luke is a great guy, and you better watch what you say about him. Yeah, but of course, Grace, I'd never say anything bad about somebody you love. Later on at the police station. Well, Ace, what should we do next? We got Major Ace. Nice to meet you. Oh, are you alright? Gee, don't creep up on people like that. You're the artist, aren't you? How observant, Major Ace. I need to talk to you. It's pretty urgent. I've been keeping some info from you. I'm sorry, but I needed to make sure you were trustworthy first, and to double check my info. I know who was harassing Lisa online. It was Penelope Rivera. What? Interesting. Interesting. Well, hey guys, stay tuned for chapter number 3, man. That wraps up chapter number 2. See you guys later. This has been Pitching Ace 88. Over and out.